Bumble in particular, restart the app.
Oh, every now and then, like when I have them all restart it.
Like new profile.
Yeah, I'll do that every now and then. I'm just like, oh, why not? I'll put up some new pictures.
Yeah,
see what happens.
And honestly, even if you put up the exact same pictures, the algorithm prioritizes new accounts over old accounts, so you will start to be seen immediately over everyone else.
I did not know that.
Yeah, please, this fucking guy, he will work any system.
You are for sure like a leave you on red kind of guy. I can tell.
1,000%, and he just met you.
I would like be in love with you. I'd be like, oh, he won't text me back. Let's get married.
Yeah, that's his whole MO. You've got him pegged and you've literally only met him for 10 minutes.
You have that energy for sure.
Yeah. Is it called false bravado?
Is it called fat dick spirit?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I'm flush. Sorry, guys.
You're ridiculous.
I'm over here just
my
giggling.
God. You know what? I should have put like a warning before you met him to not feed his ego.
Shut up.
It's
Shut
too
up.
late. I don't even know how we're gonna get.
That's not feeding my ego. He was basically just like you're the type of dude who's like a total fuckboy. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Menage-A-Pod, the hysterical comedy podcast about sex, dating, relationships, and literally everything in between. I'm TJ.
That sounds dirty.
Dude, we're trying to get into all these dirty places.
Lady bits. Okay, go on.
I'm in that mood. We were talking about some stuff before we started recording. I might be filthy today.
You might
Who knows?
be.
Jury's
I like
still out.
it.
We'll
Keep
see.
going.
This will not be safe for work. Heads up.
Yeah. Are they ever?
No, generally not. But I'm TJ. That's Jenna. We are Menage-A-Pod. What's up, guys?
I've had a very exciting week of nothing. I watched that Modern Love show. Have you seen that on Netflix?
I have not, but I know that isn't it based on a podcast and an article by NPR?
It is. It's like not NPR. It's New York Times, I think.
Okay.
And it's a column. And I used to read the column, and I didn't actually put two and two together until like the third episode. And I was like, oh, this is based on that column because I've heard this story. But it's so it is NPR.
It is.
Wait, NPR might be the
Burn.
No.
I'm just
Modern
kidding.
Love is a column in the New York Times.
Yeah, it says
NPR is
for sure the podcast.
Right,
Yeah.
So
in my face.
in
God
your face.
damn it.
Thank you. Because I actually follow it on Facebook. Anyway. It's so good. And I feel like if you're not watching it, you should be. Because the first episode is all about this guy, this doorman, and this girl who's like in her 30s, right? So I felt
relatable.
I related to it. Yeah. Where like he basically calls out every day that she brings home and says, this isn't going to work. This one's not the one, right? And he like knows it. And
so it's like Mike, your doorman?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It felt very relatable. I'm not going to tell you how it ends because I think everyone should watch it, but it was so cute. And I just kept going like, oh my God, this is sort of my life. Like this, except he was funny. He was like a Russian sniper. And he's like, you learn a lot about people from the barrel of like staring down the barrel of a gun.
Is that
None of my doormen have ever seen a gun. I guarantee it. Thank God.
Can we all be in agreement that was not a quality impersonation of a Russian person?
Was it supposed to be?
You needed to like channel your inner Putin or something. I don't know. That was horrible.
Anyway, it was very, very funny. It's a really good show. You guys should watch it.
It sounds like it. I tend to take your word on things like that. You've given a lot of great recommendations.
Yeah.
When her train comes into the recommendation station, it's always got something good on it.
I don't know why you made that movement though. That movement was freaky, and it's
I'm
like
being
thank
creepy
goodness
today.
nobody could see you do that.
The chugga chugga choo choo.
Yeah.
That's one of those jokes that needs to be visual.
Yeah. We need our own YouTube.
That's
channel.
Next step.
The other thing I wanted to tell you is that do you like this? Can you see this? I'm sticking out my middle finger.
Is it a ring?
It's a ring, and it is a. Do you recognize it by any chance?
It looks like some like crazy movie amulet.
I feel like She-Ra for some reason. It feels very like medieval to me, but the stones in it are from my engagement ring.
Oh, very nice.
I remade the ring because I was like, it's just this beautiful piece of jewelry that's sitting in my drawer for 2 years and no one's like, what am I doing with it?
Your engagement ring and 2 droplets of your ex-husband's blood? Broke the curse, motherfucker.
So now I'm wearing it proudly in a better way. I was like, can we sage it? Let's just make sure the juju's gone. We're good.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No ghosts. Everything's clear down there. That's good to hear. Nice to see you getting a nice piece of jewelry and
Thanks, me too.
Moving past a traumatic period of your life.
I know. I thought it was a big moment for me.
Well, I'm proud of you. So before we jump into our awesome guest and our cool topic for this week, there's one thing I wanted to tell you about. There's this new dating app. Have you heard about it? It's supposed to be like beyond the superficial.
No, but I think I like the sound of it.
Yeah. So it's called S'more. So
That's
like
weird.
Something more.
Oh,
Because-
now I think it's cute.
Yeah.
But if you wouldn't have explained it, I wouldn't have thought it was that cute.
And I did the quote fingers.
You
We are
did.
like leaning into the visual jokes.
Sure
Sorry
are.
for everybody who's
Well
just
done, you.
listening to this. Podcast
Which is literally everybody.
Professional. Oh, you don't know that I put like hidden cameras in the room earlier this week?
That's creepy.
All right. Well, S'more, unlike other dating apps, user profiles on S'mores, they get icons instead of pictures and text, which reveal characteristics about the profile's owner. So you don't see their picture. You might say that you're like seeking romance, interested in hiking, got an education from this or that university. And it's all in these little like tile icons. And then as you interact with the icons, S'more calls this a wink, and visual parts of their profile start to like uncover. So as you
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, as you like read things about them and interact with the content, then you can start to see them piece by piece. It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I kind of like that, except that feels like a lot of work, I got to be honest with you. It feels like a lot of time invested to someone that you may not be physically attracted to. I know, and it goes
So
against
much
your
more.
entire swipe method.
So much more time invested than just looking
Again,
straight
with the
ahead and
visuals.
swiping right on every single profile you see.
I know. I agree. I don't know. I like the idea of it. I like it in theory. That seems to me, obviously, for people who are a little bit more serious about wanting relationships and wanting to settle down than just you and your swipe methods.
Hey, my swipe methods can be very fruitful and prone to fruitful relationships.
Yes. And
So fruitful, I said it
and
twice.
listeners. I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying.
Are you insinuating that my forays into the dating apps correspond with a bump in our listenership?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And then you love this. Like, this is a good thing.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
shrug.
Anyway.
All right, well, enough on that. Why don't we get into our guest this week?
Get it? Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, you know what?
Oh,
I've
never do this
introed the
part.
guest in all but 2 episodes.
I never do this. I'm so excited. Okay, good. So today's show, we have Jacob Wells. He actually hosts a very funny podcast called the Big Gay Roundup, which basically consists of like weekly recaps of all things about love and the Real Housewives, anything like on Bravo, to Ariana Grande, to dating, to politics, literally like anything and everything. But he's so funny and warm and lovely.
and a great
no
IG
topic-
follow for sure.
Yeah, no topic is off limits, it seems like. Seems to be an open book. And I got to be honest with you, you know your angles. I was looking at your Instagram page and I was like, wow, you really know how to take a selfie. I was
It's
impressed.
all about lighting and angles. Like,
It really, so we've learned. TJ tells me this all the time. I haven't mastered it, but I'm trying.
although I have this fear of like, I never try and not look like myself, but I always have this fear of being like, seeing people in public, they're like, oh, he doesn't look like that.
No, you look
You look
exactly.
like it.
Yeah, you look exactly like your Instagram. I
know.
knew who you were
I think so,
immediately.
but
in
I
my
always,
lobby.
I always have a fear of that.
You're just as
No.
dreamy in person, man.
You
Come on.
are,
you.
especially in the hat. So anyway, welcome. It's so nice to have you here.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I know this has been a long time coming. We've been so busy. Like, we're trying to tape before the holidays and stuff. So it's been nutty with scheduling. So thanks for being flexible with that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm very
Yeah.
excited.
I listened to a couple of your podcasts, and there was one episode where you did like kind of like a rapid fire question where to get to know your guest. And I thought it was such a fun thing to do. So I'm stealing it. Can we do
I
that
am
with
down,
you?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're just going to kind of jump into it. Who is your biggest celebrity crush?
Okay, well, I have 2.
Okay.
One is Lenny Kravitz.
Oh,
I've-
that's a good one.
Wait, I think I might know the other one.
What did you listen?
John Legend.
Oh, well, I love John Legend too.
Okay.
I'm just obsessed with him and Chrissy Teigen in general.
I'm saying like relationship goals.
Yes, they love each other. They make fun. I love how she gives them
Roast
shit all the
him.
time.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Their kids are adorable.
And how would they not be?
Exactly. Well, sometimes when
you
two
never know.
attractive, well, sometimes when two attractive people, like God doesn't always bless with both hands.
Yes.
So if two attractive people get together, sometimes their kids are like not cute.
That
Like,
is so true.
I've known some people who are very attractive couples, and their kids were not,
I know.
not great.
I've seen the same thing. It's like they get the worst parts of their parents all just in one.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
Is that what happened with you, Jenna?
Wow.
Oh, that's so
That's
rude.
a burn.
I'm kidding. I love you.
No, he just has a massive crush on my mother. So, like, it's fine. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to see a picture after this.
She's very pretty.
She
for
is
her
super
70s.
fabulous, man.
Okay.
Oh my God.
2 years young.
But yeah, Lenny Kravitz and then Jason Kennedy from E! News.
Ooh.
Really?
Really?
He's
That's an
he's kinda
interesting one.
He's very cute, but he's kind of dorky. He's very funny. He's got that dorky personality that I like. And then like he is obsessed with his wife. Lauren, she's the model who like lost an arm and an eye from a helicopter accident.
Yes.
And he like is crazy about, and there's something about that just mostly a sense. I mean, he's a very attractive guy, but his sense of humor, I love.
I follow him on Instagram, and he is very sweet. Here's my thought about your two, though. Lenny Kravitz would be very good in bed.
Oh, that guy fucks
Right?
for sure.
And you've seen his dick.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't.
When
Why
he
haven't
did
I
like
seen it?
he did the very aggressive like hypersexual kind of guitar squat thrust on stage, and his pants just ripped and his cock fell out.
Stop. For real?
Didn't he have on a cock ring too?
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I think they were leather pants. I mean, as soon as I heard
It was leather for sure.
Wait a minute.
And I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, I think he had a cock ring on too.
Right. To what? Make it look bigger in his pants?
I mean,
Isn't that what it does? I mean, it like holds the blood. I don't know. We have to ask Sophia.
it makes you last longer. I don't know the point. I don't know the point of wearing one.
Of wearing it? Oh, maybe he's into some kinky shit, which would then make him better in bed, if you ask me. Right?
He for sure fucks.
Oh,
like,
for sure. Jason Kennedy, I feel like would be just like me.
He's
timid.
gonna make love to you.
He's gonna make all the love.
And when you're sick, he'll cook you soup.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like he's a nurturer. He'll
Yeah.
hold you against his
Yes,
chest.
you're gonna definitely spoon after.
Yeah,
not
100%.
for long because I get hot and I gotta. But at least for a good 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. So he's the one you marry,
Yeah.
I think, out of the two.
Yeah, and just.
And then
Fuck Lenny
Lenny's
Kravitz
your
on
side
the
piece.
Totally. Yeah. If you're lucky.
You have quickly become my favorite guest.
I mean, also I'm gay, so that like side piece is not out of the question with our community.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah. See, I feel like
We're preaching messages of inclusivity, guys.
Yeah, I sometimes feel like maybe I'm in the wrong community if that's how that works. Just kidding. I don't like to share. I'm not good at that.
I'm not good at it either.
Yeah.
I could never. No.
No. I think in theory, like
I'm very jealous.
Me too.
Sorry, keep talking.
No. I think in theory, so we had this same discussion on an episode with the comedian Bobby Hill. He's awesome and he's poly. And so that was my argument was like, I get it. I really do. Like logically, you can explain to me how this works, and I think it sounds awesome. But in practice, I just don't know if I'm built for that. You know, I love the idea of it, but I can't in practice.
Well, I like the idea of just because I like my alone time. So like I see like I don't know if I can actually ever live with another with a partner just because I like my alone time. So like 2-3 days a week would be perfect. Plus, I'm not a super sexual person.
What?
So I mean,
get out of my house.
You're practically oozing animal magnetism right now, Jacob. Come on.
And sometimes I'm just not in the mood. So it'd be nice to be like, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
But I'm also very jealous, so I would not like that.
Yeah. You should try long distance.
Like, I
big proponent of that.
Long
for that
distance.
reason.
It's in the water for sure.
I've done plenty of long distance.
Yeah. Because then you get like the best of both worlds. It's a good balance.
Yeah. It's hard. But there was a lot of positives.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next question. Favorite show on TV right now?
Well, it's anything Housewives.
Do you have a favorite Housewives?
Well, New York is my top, and then Potomac is really good.
Potomac gets wild.
Oh, yes, they do.
I'm from Maryland, like Potomac. I worked at Potomac. It's not. I don't know people like that.
My friend Katie's from there, and she said she's like, no, she's like, they don't even live there.
Oh, interesting.
Although I do like on there, which all the housewives do this, like the first season, they're all about society.
Oh, yeah.
And how they present themselves. And then by season 2 or 3, it's just, they're like throwing things at each other. And calling each other whores all the time.
Yeah.
I like it once it gets really messy. Like the first couple seasons, I can't get into as much, but like once it gets messy, I'm down.
And then once it's messy, you kind of have to go back to get the backstory to make sure you're like aligned with everything that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
So get on board late when it's crazy and then like binge the back catalog.
Yeah. I'd say, but my current favorite that's currently airing TV show is The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
That's where my brain was going, was like, if you like a shit show, you should watch New Jersey.
Yeah, that's the franchise.
They're a shit show from the beginning.
Yeah, that's the franchise that made me a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were messy from the beginning. They kind of tried, they just didn't have the society bone in them.
Yeah, they really did.
Atlanta didn't.
Yeah, she's out there fucking flipping tables. Also, can we talk about how Teresa now looks like jacked? She's jacked.
Oh, she looks so good.
You think she looks good? I think she looks
so good. Good for her. He's
scary.
He sent her to prison, and then he went to prison.
Yeah.
Have you seen him? He's really
scary.
Yeah, he's gross.
Yeah,
he was always gross.
Yeah.
But now
he's just a piece of shit anyway, too.
Oh, yeah. But she's fucking that young guy now.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, so there was like pictures of her and some young guy like holding hands, like
so
on
are they
several
divorced?
vacations. No.
Oh, shit.
But he's still in Italy now, right?
Yeah, so okay, let me circle back around.
Yeah.
So he was in prison.
Yeah.
And
I knew that
there were
part.
like photos of her and this young guy on vacations together. And she was like, oh, we're just friends, blah, blah, blah.
Oh. TJ and I don't hold
And,
hands. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah, I don't really I hold hands with my straight girlfriends sometimes if we're drunk.
Me and my straight girlfriends too.
So then he got out of prison. And of course, he was fucking around on her the whole time that she was in prison.
Sure.
Well, even before that. He's so gross. And he got out of prison and they did a special. So he went to ICE detention and he requested to go ahead and be sent to Italy instead of staying in ICE because it was so bad. And so he went back to Italy, and then Andy Cohen did a special with them, her in New York and him in Italy. Oh. And he was basically saying that he thought she was cheating on him. And they hate each other. Like,
good for her.
They hate each other. I don't know why they're married.
I was going to say, it can't even be money at this point because didn't he
Well, I'm sure they got banked for that special. Plus, then her and the kids went to Italy and Bravo was filming it. So, I'm sure they're getting money.
Sure.
Well, and even the brand they've been able to build, hasn't she written books?
Yeah.
And they've done so much other shit. I'm sure they're fine for cash.
Yeah. Well, I think also it's probably a little bit of a pride thing. Like everyone was saying, oh, when does she divorce him? So I think she's going to wait a little while. But they hate each other.
But who cares?
Got to milk that
Just
cash
be
cow for a while
happy.
longer.
Oh, totally.
Ugh. I mean, without him, she'd be fine. She'd still be on the Housewives. So it's not like...
Yeah, he needs her. She doesn't need him.
That's what I'm saying. She needs to get out of there. And those poor kids... Sorry. I'm just going to say this is the last thing I say about it. But those poor kids, I feel like they're going to grow up and not know what normal fucking healthy relationships look like.
Daddy issues.
Every last one of them.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful girls. So I can only... They're going to be so slutty.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
There's 3 of them, right?
4.
Ooh, that's like a 25% chance that there's a pole dancer in that crew.
I'm telling you.
Sure.
If they aren't already, right?
I'm here for it.
One of them's going to get pregnant young for sure.
1,000%. And that'll be the spinoff.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Teresa.
She'll be on 16 and Pregnant.
Teresa's a grandma.
16 and Pregnant in New Jersey.
Okay. The other question I wanted to ask you was, because I just had this debate with a friend, who do you think has the better face?
Okay.
In terms of work that's been done?
Okay.
Reese Witherspoon or Jennifer Aniston?
Ooh, that's tough.
Has Reese Witherspoon had work done?
Well, she doesn't have a wrinkle on her face. So I'm going to guess she had
true.
at least Botox.
That's true. I'm going to say Reese Witherspoon.
Same.
Yeah.
That was my answer too, because I just started to watch the morning show or whatever their new show is together.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's fine. I really want to be into it because I like the cast is awesome.
Yeah.
But the writing is not so great. But I think you can kind of get over it. I think they just got to find their groove.
Yeah.
They only have 4
I feel like
episodes
everyone
out.
either loves it or hates it, but everyone who loves it is just because of who's in it.
That's it. It's just such a great everyone. Everyone in there's famous. And what's his face? Who's the guy in it? Steve Carell.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, I love him, and he's so good in this. I love when he plays people that aren't this happy-go-lucky funny character, and he has to stretch his acting chops. That's what he's doing here. He's kind of like an asshole in it, which I appreciate.
Guys, so interjection. I did some real serious, deep research, approximately 0.6 of a second on Google, and I found a Pinterest board. So this is CSI level depth. Reese Witherspoon, plastic surgery, before and after.
Yeah.
If it's on Pinterest,
So
gotta be
I don't
true
think
then.
she's
I'm
had
here for it.
Jennifer Aniston's had her nose done and stuff.
can we be clear that they're both goddesses?
Yeah, they're both beautiful. And Jennifer Aniston's close to 50 maybe?
Can I say something controversial that you
You
might
don't
not
like Jennifer
You-
Aniston?
I don't care.
I don't either. I don't either.
I don't find her
I
interesting.
knew I liked you.
She's not that good of an actress. Lisa Kudrow
is great also.
Lisa Kudrow should have been the star of Friends.
Agreed. Ooh,
And-
that's a yeah, I know that's a controversial.
I'm having
thing
a
to say,
hard time coming back from that.
But I agree. I don't like her at all. I think she plays the same character no matter what role.
Yeah.
And her being in this role of this bitchy news anchor
Yeah.
is I can't. She's a rom-com person
And
to me.
she's just not interesting.
She's not.
I don't get why she's always in all the blogs and magazines. She's not interesting.
No.
But in Horrible Bosses, she deep-throated 3 consecutive food items, cold to hot. It's not even the natural order. Come on.
I mean,
Jennifer Aniston has never deep-throated anything in her life. I guarantee it.
100%.
She pays someone to do that for her.
She is boring. I guarantee.
I agree, which is why I hate to say it.
It's missionary nonstop.
Yeah.
Oh, lights off.
Lights off, socks on.
Yeah. Like, I guess it's your birthday.
That's why he left her. I hate to say it, but for Angelina. Yeah. I mean, she's hot.
Because she had the nipple clamps and a butt plug up his ass like the next day.
She was like first date, right? I mean, I can imagine. And then she like took his blood in a vial.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrong guy.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah. It was kind of fucked up. Okay. And then my last question for you. I saw that you were talking about Miley and her new beau.
Oh, yeah. They broke up.
It was a Simpson, right?
Yeah,
oh, they did?
Up, yeah.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
So I love Miley. Like I just like as a person.
Yeah.
I'm very upset about the Hemsworth brother not working out because I feel like
the lesser Hemsworth.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah. Liam. The one that wasn't Thor.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, I got my finger on the pulse. I know what's going on. He is the lesser Hemsworth.
Yeah. And
he's one of those people I know who he is, but I can't tell you a single thing he's been in.
Hunger Games.
That's it. Literally, that's it.
Whatever. That shit was right there.
Yeah.
I'm hip with what the
he's
kids
very
know.
handsome, though. I find him very handsome.
He's super hot.
But I feel like she probably fucked that one up. I feel like it's probably her bad.
I feel like she's going through something that started before the divorce.
Agreed.
I feel like she's in a spiral.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was so madly in love with her. I don't get it.
Although she put out that song Malibu where she keeps talking about like whiskey and pills. And there were all the rumors that he's like on.
Oh, I don't know that rumor. Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, which that's kind of shady though to like put
it on a song.
when that's out there and then put a song out.
Yeah.
With those exact lyrics like the week, like 2 weeks later.
I mean, she went through a very like public breakdown, like circa Britney Spears. So I feel like that wrecking ball where she like right, that whole thing was definitely her Britney Spears moment, I feel like.
See, I feel like I feel like that was more her just like kind of going crazy a little. Not like
breaking free.
Just kind of like liberating herself from her old image. I feel like this is more I feel like she's actually having more of a breakdown
she
now.
Looks very skinny, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I know. I follow her on
she's
Instagram.
Always like wet. Like her hair.
Yeah, she's always wet.
Always
wet.
Maybe that's a trend that we just haven't gotten here yet in the Midwest. Is that an LA thing?
I'm like, why are you moist right now?
She just carries a water bottle and spritzes herself every couple minutes. Keeps a nice glow.
Was the new beau? He was a Simpson, right?
Yeah, his name's Cody Simpson. He was like a teen actor. I think he was on like a Disney show or something.
Yeah, I didn't get that. And I also didn't find him attractive.
Yeah, no, he was fine.
His body was fine. His face wasn't fine.
The Caitlyn Jenner, but not the Caitlyn Jenner, I was like, I mean, I'm a gay man. I'm like, she's hotter than he is. Like,
same. I agree with you. Okay, one last question. Best first date you've ever had?
I mean, I've had good dates. I can't say there's like one that like specifically sticks out. I mean, I always have fun. Like, I love the zoo. Like, I'm like a little kid. I love the zoo.
Do you do zoo lights?
Yeah, so I've gone before. But so like if a guy like will be like, oh, we should like go to the zoo and we walk around the zoo and then we go to drink somewhere. Those have always been really good dates to me.
That's actually a good idea.
There's not one that's specifically like date that sticks out to me, but
so basically what you're saying is that's your go-to move is seducing men at the zoo. Like I bring them to the zoo, we go to drinks.
I feel like the zoo's a great date spot. I mean, it's not the best date I've ever had, but the best date I ever had, someone planned a scavenger hunt around the city for me.
It's so much work.
Which was a first date. Yeah.
Did he wear your skin later that night?
No, it was so much fun. We had so much fun because I was new to this. I was young. I was like 24 or something. And
so that was like 5 years ago?
Yes, 5 years ago. And I was new to the city. And so it was his way of like showing me around, which I thought was so cute. Never, ever have I had a date that great since. Yeah. I've had good dates, but like that was exceptional. Yeah.
I mean, if you loved it, great. For me,
you wouldn't have liked that?
I don't want to work on a date.
I thought it was fun. It was interactive. We had wine and to-go cups. So it was like we were drinking.
Maybe in my 20s, I would have liked it more. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like,
yeah, maybe.
So you're not here for activity dates?
No. Well, like after a few dates, it's fine. But like a first date, like I'd rather go get a drink. I love a coffee date. Like I love going get like especially on a weekend. Like I'm lazy. I don't like to go out on the weekdays anymore.
Same.
So like Saturday, Sunday, hour, get a coffee. Everyone has an hour on a Saturday or Sunday. If you don't, you're lying. And then it's easy to end a coffee date early if you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
And like I've had like 45-minute dates and been like, all right, well, this was fun. And I knew I was never going to see them again. It's not as rude as like, I feel like even if we go for drinks, I feel unless you're a complete asshole, I feel more of an obligation to get a second drink if you want to get a second drink.
Yeah.
True.
I'm like, oh, well, he's nice. And like, if I say no, then it's going to be very obvious I'm not into it. And I don't want to like hurt his
But maybe
feelings.
that's a good thing. Maybe then you both know you're on the right
breaking
page.
hearts, bro.
Yeah. Do you date a lot?
Not as much anymore. In my 20s, I dated a lot.
Yeah.
Now, like, it just takes more for me to actually, like, I have to be very interested in you to actually go out on a date with you. And I always have this debate in my mind of, is this going to be more fun than laying on my couch and watching Housewives?
Oh my God.
9 times out of 10, the answer is no.
No, yeah.
And
I agree.
and I'm not saying this, like, in some kind of bragging way. That's actually not a good thing. I'm kind of a little bit the king of canceling dates. We talk for a while.
You're sitting across from
you are not the king.
fucking master.
You,
are you
Crown
kidding?
Prince, maybe.
We'll talk for a few days and like we'll have a date. And I think it's because I have dated a lot. I'm at the age now where I am. I'm more okay with being single to where I'm like, it's day of. I'm like, I don't want to, why am I doing something I don't want to do? Just to like be nice and not hurt that. When I do that, I don't like to lie and be like, oh, this came up. I like to be honest and be like, and sometimes they're like, oh, thank you for being honest. Other times they don't handle it very well.
Yeah.
I've gotten a few paragraph text messages about canceling a date before you even meet.
Really?
Yeah. Like, how can you even know if we're not going to get along? We haven't even met. And what was the point of us talking for these last few days? It's like, calm down.
Wow.
Like, fire up Tinder. You'll get another date. Or get on Grindr. You can get one right now.
Yeah.
Fair. That's actually kind of a good point. What's your dating app of choice?
Probably, I get the most matches on Bumble. The most like dates from Tinder.
Okay.
I mean, they're all kind of the same. I feel like you get, I like the satisfaction of getting the more matches on Bumble. I'm not going to lie, but I feel like I do have better conversation with people from Tinder.
Really?
I hate Hinge. Hinge is the worst.
What don't you like about it?
It's too, well, some of it is the guys who always like me, like who I'm not interested in, and I just don't get as many matches. And it's like, it's more work and effort. And I think it's good when you're looking for a relationship, I do think it's good for that. I think if I got matches that I was interested in, I would feel different. Like I would like that it's that type of format. And I do like how you like fill out the question, you answer questions and you kind of respond to those things. I like that. I think it's just the talent I get isn't as good as the other apps.
Interesting.
That's weird. I would say it's not my favorite app either. And in the times that I've been on the dating apps, my experience on Hinge was always that most of the women that it served to me were women who I saw as being like way too hot for me and like out of my league to the point of, because I know the interaction.
You're a very attractive guy.
Well, thank you.
Oh, come on. He doesn't need to hear that from men too. He hears it from women.
And
enough.
You're beautiful too.
Thank you. It doesn't count because you don't want to get in my pants, but it's fine.
You.
I'll still take it.
No, but I because your interactions are limited on the app, and it's not like Bumble where it's mostly unlimited, or Tinder where you obviously get a fair amount of interaction as well. So I would like kind of opportunity cost, be like, all right, this girl is objectively a 10. She's gorgeous. She seems smart. She's got all this stuff going on. She's not going to be interested. So I don't even want to like waste my like on her because it's going to be like wasted.
That's what I tell myself when I don't get matches. I'm like, they were just intimidated. They just knew.
That's so true. I do that. Well, I'm not on them anymore, but I
should be.
Them. I know. I should be.
They're not great. I don't like them. Actually, I deleted them all like earlier this week. I take a break, but then like 2 weeks later, I get bored and I re-download it.
Ooh, question. When you do it, do you restart your profile in its entirety?
Jesus,
no, I just like delete it off my app and then I re-download it and it's all there.
Oh, man. Bumble in particular, restart the app.
Oh, every now and then, like when I have them all restart it.
Like new profile.
Yeah, I'll do that every now and then. I'm just like, oh, why not? I'll put up some new pictures.
Yeah,
see what happens.
And honestly, even if you put up the exact same pictures, the algorithm prioritizes new accounts over old accounts, so you will start to be seen immediately over everyone else.
I did not know that.
Yeah, please, this fucking guy, he will work any system.
You are for sure like a leave you on red kind of guy. I can tell.
1,000%, and he just met you.
I would like be in love with you. I'd be like, oh, he won't text me back. Let's get married.
Yeah, that's his whole MO. You've got him pegged and you've literally only met him for 10 minutes.
You have that energy for sure.
Yeah. Is it called false bravado?
Is it called fat dick spirit?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I'm flush. Sorry, guys.
You're ridiculous.
I'm over here just
my
giggling.
God. You know what? I should have put like a warning before you met him to not feed his ego.
Shut up.
It's
Shut
too
up.
late. I don't even know how we're gonna get.
That's not feeding my ego. He was basically just like you're the type of dude who's like a total fuck boy. That's not feeding my ego.
You actually are. That's it. You pegged. You nailed it. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on from you. Okay, so clearly with, first of all, I love the name of your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Where did you get that? How did that come up?
I wish I had a great story. It just kind of randomly popped in my mind.
Oh, it's so great.
I think I was like drinking some rosé and like trying to come up with a name. Like the Big Gay Roundup.
I love it. I think it's very funny. It's very clever. So clearly with a podcast named The Big Gay Roundup, you are a gay man.
I am
correct?
a giant homosexual.
Okay, great.
Which your listeners are like, yeah, we heard your voice. We know we know what's up, Mary. We know what's happening. You don't have to tell us.
Well, I have to find a segue somewhere. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good show. Give me a break.
He's pretty delightful. I think it's going to be a good show regardless.
I know. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, because we always, like, I think I had said this to you in when we were chatting, like, we've talked about relationships from every perspective. So obviously heterosexual, poly, even like sexual kinks, like BDSM. So tell us kind of a little bit about like the dating world from like the gay man's
Just speak for your entire community.
Also,
here, Jacob.
I want to kind of hear your story too, because I know everyone's is different.
Yeah, let me tell you about the homosexuals.
This is our community outreach program.
You'll learn this about me. I like to speak in
broad, gross generalities.
That's okay. I do the same thing. It's fine.
I feel like everyone is me in some way or another. So please,
I feel like everyone, no matter your gender identity, your sexual identity, I feel like everyone, like even talking to my straight girlfriends. Yes. I don't really have straight guy friends, but everyone, I feel like it's
can we be friends?
Duh, we're already friends.
I don't know. I feel like
friends.
you might be.
You just can't have sex with any of my straight female friends.
Ways.
Fair.
Good rule.
But can I have sex with their friends?
No.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Twice
as long
removed.
as it's not my friend.
Awesome.
Jeez. No, you're going to ruin the friend group. I would take that back if I were you.
So do you want me to start like my coming out?
Yeah.
So
start like where you're from. Like, was it, are you from here?
I'm from Southern Illinois, so almost Kentucky.
Oh.
So I grew up there. My whole family's still there. I moved here 7.5 years ago, so I consider myself a Chicagoan.
Same.
Still have that hint of an accent.
I get told that.
I don't hear it. I don't. What's the accent? Is it supposed to be like a Southern?
It's.
I don't hear it.
People are like, no, I don't hear it at all. And other people are like, oh yeah, I hear it a lot.
I heard it like the second I started your podcast. I was like, oh yeah, from a little south there.
You should hear my dad talk. It's a very, very thick accent.
So cute.
His father's actually Jeff Foxworthy. You might be a redneck if. All right,
the tone of voice is not far from that. He just doesn't have the mustache or as much hair. So I moved here 7.5 years ago. I'm a full-time social worker.
Oh. What made you do that?
So most of my family are nurses. I knew that wasn't for me, but I knew I kind of wanted to be in the helping field. I thought about teaching, but I don't like kids.
Fair.
And so even in social work, like I knew I couldn't work with kids. I worked with like disabled kids doing case management stuff for several years. I really like that, but like just your normal everyday kid, I just can't deal with it. Even my nieces and nephews, I'm like, go away after a while.
Give them a solid like 5-10 minutes and that's enough.
Yeah. So I work with adults, mostly elderly and like disabled adults. I do case management, care coordination stuff.
Is it like a QDDP?
I was a QIDP back in the day. Yeah, before the job I have now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Look at you. So very, very conservative where I'm from. My dad's actually a minister.
What a twist!
I am a preacher's kid.
Wow.
My whole family's very
PK.
religious. Yes, PK. My whole family's very religious.
Like what? I mean, a pastor is what? Like for what religion? Not Catholic. I'm assuming.
No. So their denomination it's Social Brethren, but it's like Baptist Methodist.
Holy Baptist!
It's like Baptist Methodist-ish kind of thing.
Okay.
It's nothing like when I say that they're Social Brethren, people don't know what it is because it's just a bunch of small like country churches.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing weird. It's not like snakes or anything like that.
That's good.
So yeah, very religious, which has been a thing for us.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I got daddy issues. We'll just say that.
Well,
don't we
understandably.
So I came out. Well, actually, I used to date women before I came out, which nobody ever believes. I'm like, well, I hit it better than they're like, did you really? Well, but I also dated like good.
That's not uncommon.
Yeah. Everyone just thought I was a pretty boy.
Oh,
and I would talk with my deeper voice, which I still can do sometimes. But
what's that sound like? Give us the taste of that.
This is a little bit deeper.
Oh, yeah. That's like a radio
I
voice.
just felt something jiggle. What the fuck just happened?
He could give Sophia a run for her money. Low and slow voice, low and slow.
You had a glitch in the matrix there for a second.
So I dated, but I always dated good Christian girls so they wouldn't want to have sex.
Oh, smart. That's smart.
I mean, like I touched their areas with other parts of my body, but never my penis.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's never been more clear that you do not want to touch a vagina than it was right in that sentence right there.
There is.
It was kind of icky.
I mean, they weren't gross, but I don't like want to touch one again.
Right.
So I dated women until I was in grad. So I went to undergrad and I moved back to do grad school at home. At Carbondale. I moved back in with my parents for like a year, which was a mistake. And because after being on your own, living with your parents again is not great.
Well, when you were on your own, were you still dating women?
Yeah.
Oh.
When I was in undergrad. I didn't date a whole lot in college, but some. And it was women. Although I started like sometimes getting on like it was before like dating apps, so I would get on this site called gay.com. And I would like, and sometimes I would talk to guys, but I would like ration in my mind. I'm like, I'm just being like rebellious against it. It's just like a curiosity.
It was called gay.com?
Yeah.
So they were really trying to keep it quiet.
Yeah, they were very undercover there.
Super subtle, gay.com.
Yeah. Well, then, I mean, like there weren't dating apps. So it was like, that was like the popular like site to use to chat. It was like chat room stuff.
Yeah.
I never like met up with anyone because I would like chicken out at the last minute because I was like, I had a lot of Christian guilt. I was like, I'm gonna like be in a car wreck on my way to meet them or something crazy like that.
That's how it happens.
Yeah. So I moved back for grad school, and then I was dating a girl. We dated for like 6 months, and she was the type of person who was very like she was actually younger than me. I was like 22, 23, and she was like 19, 20, something like that. Mm-hmm. And she was the type of person who she wanted to get married. Like that was her goal in life. And we've been dating for 6 months, and she started hinting about like engagement rings. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
Were you panicking so fucking hard?
Yeah, I'm like, oh no.
Like this is what they call the moment of truth.
Yeah, and I'm like, I got to break up with her, and I got to just like try this out. So we broke up, and I was in grad school, and actually I think it was on gay.com again because apps still weren't a thing at that point. And I started talking to guys and ended up meeting up with a guy who actually, so where I'm from, like if a guy, like now if my parents' house, if I get on Grindr, if a guy's within 30 miles, that's like close.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would be talking to guys who live where my parents live, like Nashville and St. Louis for the same distance. So I was usually talking to guys like in Nashville or St. Louis. So I started talking to this guy who lived in St. Louis, and I ended up meeting up with him one weekend. We went to that was actually a really good date. He took me to the city museum there.
Oh.
Did you see a zoo?
No, just the museum.
But a museum is like zoo adjacent.
Yeah.
So I feel like
we didn't go to the zoo. It was kind of cold. It was like wintertime.
Okay.
So we went to the city museum. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of an unspoken thing of like, am I staying here? Am I not staying here? Like, what's happening? Because like St. Louis is like 2.5 hours from my parents.
Right.
And it was like a daytime thing. So it wasn't out of the question to like leave. I ended up staying. We didn't like hook up, but we made out. And like the second we kissed, I'm like, something went off my head. I'm like, this is what I've been missing.
Yeah.
And how old were you at this point?
I was probably like 23, somewhere around there. Yeah. Well, no, probably like 24. Probably 24.
Wow.
And then I slowly like started like not long after that. Well, no, before that, I told a friend in grad school. She was the first person I came out to because I knew she'd be totally cool with it. And also, I was going to St. Louis to meet someone I didn't know, so I
you didn't want to be
If you show
murdered.
this, there needs to be a paper trail.
Yeah, I don't suggest that. Like you should, probably not do that.
I know.
But
And now,
track my phone.
instead of having him tell the story on the podcast, we'd be telling the story of his murder on a separate podcast.
Yeah, a true crime podcast.
That actually sounds like it would make a great story. But glad you didn't get murdered.
Me too.
He ended up being like a douchebag, but that weekend was really good.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just slowly started coming out to people, friends, some family who I knew would be okay. Then I came out to my sisters. I didn't tell my parents until I'd moved here. So I always knew I did not want to live in Southern Illinois for a lot of reasons.
Fair.
And so I moved here, started living my had a lot of fun for the first 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I'd been here like less than a year, and I actually texted my mom. She was off.
You texted it to her?
Yeah.
That's probably
honestly
the safest way to do it.
Well, like she's a nurse, and like from being on her feet all the time. She has like bad knees and hips, and she had surgery, and so she was off work for like a month, and so she was texting me nonstop all the time. And one day she kept like,
this'll stop her.
Well, no, but I felt like she knew, she knew.
Of course,
and
I feel
she
like
kept
parents always know.
and she kept like. The question she was asking that day, I was kind of wanting just to do it and tell her anyway.
Right.
And that day, I've always said, the moment that's right to come out to people.
Yeah.
I've never, anytime I've wanted to specifically come out to someone, there's a moment where I'm like, this is it. And it happens, at least for me. And she kept, I can't remember what she was saying. I'm like, is she hinting? What is she doing? So I told her, and she was not surprised. She's like, yeah, like I know, but she's very religious. So she was like, I think, you just haven't met the right woman yet. I think like it's never really worked out with a girl before. So you're like, just trying this out or, she's like, I'm going to be praying for you. So it
you're
like,
praying for me to find the best dick possible.
All the dick. So by that point, it was happening a lot. And
like the lid was off and I just, Pandora's box. I just like went crazy.
So which at that point, my biggest fear, because my parents are very religious, there was stuff said growing up that like would make me think they wouldn't be supportive.
Right.
So like, you want your parents to be like, oh, that's great, whatever. So, but I was actually okay with that response at that time. Like, as long as you're not like, oh, I'm never speaking to you again.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that was a potential response?
Not from my mom. I was worried about my dad. And I didn't tell my dad. I kind of left it up to someone else to spread the word, as I knew they would eventually.
Yeah.
And I still, to this day, don't know who told him, but he knows.
Have you ever had the explicit conversation with him, though?
No, I'd rather die. And my dad, and we actually don't really, he doesn't really talk to me.
After that or prior
well,
to
no.
that
So it was weird. We were, I wouldn't say fine, but we've always not had the best relationship. We just don't have anything in common. He was a good dad. I'm not like shit talking him. He we were polar opposites.
Right.
He was an athlete in high school and very like guy's guy. And I
Dude,
related to none of that.
You have flannel and a beanie on. You are manly as fuck.
This is fashion. This is not for manliness. And I have the hair swoop going on, so it takes everything away from it. But so we were fine for a couple years, and then just randomly all of a sudden I know, because we have like a family group text. It's not like we talk every day, but usually it's used in times when they could just text the other person, but it ends up in group chat. Yeah. And I noticed like anytime I would say anything, he wouldn't respond. And so finally I went home. This was 2 years ago. I went home for Christmas, and it was very obvious he was not speaking to me. And so he went outside, and so I looked at my mom. I'm like, so he's not talking to me, right? She's like, yeah, he's just having trouble dealing with everything.
Oh my God.
So really, like, he'll text me happy birthday on my birthday. And that's really it. I haven't been home in 2 years. I'm supposed to go home for Christmas, but it's probably not happening. I just haven't told him that yet.
Oh, I sometimes wonder though, as someone who is married, okay, I'd like to preface this with, I don't have children. I have a dog. It's not the same.
It's the same.
It
for all you people out there with kids who think you're fucking special, let me be the first to tell you, you are not.
Wow, that's hurtful. But I sometimes wonder, like, but I was married, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like in situations like that, as a wife, I would be like, get your shit together. Yeah. This is your child. Mm-hmm. But that's me. I'm very clearly not a quiet person. I'm a little strong-willed that way.
Well, my mom's kind of tried to deal with my dad, but my dad, you can't talk to about stuff. He just gets mad. Yeah. And it's like when he gets mad, it's just like you can't. It's just you can't talk to him about anything. Yeah. So she's kind of tried to in her own way, but he's kind of got to come to it on his own. Right. So. It is what it is.
Hey, if Dick Cheney can be pro LGBTQ, then so can your father.
Yeah, well, I cut my parents some slack of it. It took me like 25 years to accept it. And they grew up, like my grandparents were very religious. My parents actually met at church. So for them, it's going to take some time to everything they've been taught their whole life. My mom's gotten better over the years. I went through a breakup that was really hard for me, and I talked to her about it, and she was actually really good about it. Then she'll be like, "Oh, I still think you and your friend Holly are going to get married someday."
Oh goodness, Mom!
This Holly, is she beautiful?
She's very pretty.
No, you can't meet her.
No, she's married with 2 kids. Yeah, and her husband's in the military. So.
Yeah, Tourette's. I hope he's a sniper.
Just kidding. Russian sniper.
Yeah.
I made him Russian Irish.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was almost as bad as mine.
My impression work is not good. So you mentioned growing up religious. When you, I know you didn't come out until your 20s, but what time do you think you really started to realize that you were gay?
I mean, I always knew something was different about me being young, and like even like being like 8 or 9 and watching TV or something, like kind of finding myself oddly drawn to
like Designing Women.
Oh my God, I love that show so much.
Such a good show. Such a good
I
show.
love that show so much.
Delta Burke's a national treasure. God damn it.
She really is. Yes. But I would just like notice attractive men, and I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I knew something was different. And then by high school, I kind of started realizing it more, but it was still like, oh no, let's push that down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of always knew something was different. I didn't really probably know what it was until like 14, 15.
Right.
I kind of had more an idea of what it was then.
Well, now that you're an adult and it's not really a secret and your family knows and obviously your friends know, after growing up religious, are you still a religious guy? I
mean, I still have a strong faith in God. I still pray every day. I have like a daily devotional thing I read in the morning. So yeah, I still have a very strong faith in God. So like when I was struggling with coming out, if I wanted to actually try to like date men, after I broke up with the girlfriend, I read a book. There's this country singer, Shelley Wright, and she's a lesbian.
She's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I cried some tears that day.
She is, yes.
She is gorgeous.
So she wrote a book, and I knew what subject matter was, and I was kind of deciding what I was going to do, and I read it. And in it, and you know, I was lucky of the sense of like I never was like depressed, suicidal about it or anything, like a lot of people are. But
right.
She wrote in her book that she was suicidal about it, and she was actually going to commit suicide, and then she prayed one night, God, if you're okay with this, just make me okay with it. And then she went to sleep. She woke up. She was fine. So that night I prayed, I'm like, okay, God, if you're okay with this, because I still had so much guilt about everything.
Right.
I was like, if you're okay with this, if we're good, let me not worry about this anymore. So I went to sleep, woke up. I felt zero guilt ever since.
That's incredible.
So in that, I can't like experience that and not still have faith in God.
I'm sorry. So I kind of want to dig into this a little bit because this is actually a conversation I have with my mother. I'm going to say this because she doesn't listen. But my mother retired. She was a Catholic, Italian Catholic growing up. And then kind of fell off for a while. There were like things that happened in her life that kind of made her question her faith and all that kind of stuff. And then once she retired, which was like 5 years ago, she threw herself into the church. I think, honestly, it was a way to meet people. And they moved from Maryland to Florida, like all the old people do. And I think for her, it was a way to be part of a community and meet people. But it also brought back that old faith that she had, but it's not Catholicism anymore. It's just like, I don't know what Christians do. What I don't even know. Like I'm about
what do Christians do?
Like she's just like Christian. I don't know. But this is my argument all the time about faith. And I went to a private school as a kid, a Catholic private school. For me, my issue with my mother, and we get into this argument all the time, is like my God, the one that I believe in, is the same one she believes in. I guarantee it. It's also the same one I think that like, you know, anyone really believes in. We just call him or her something different because of how we were culturally raised, right? And what we know. My God is not someone who would not love everyone. Yeah. And that is always my argument with
Jesus
my mom.
Is the liberal, goddammit.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I think he would be.
I'm an atheist. I don't care.
I think he would be. Yeah. And to me, it's like he made everyone this way, right? And so like, what the fuck's the problem? And so my mother and I get into this debate all the time. And sometimes I get so angry, I literally have to like leave the room. And it's not just a sexuality debate with her. It's also like, my big pet peeve with her is that like, she'll do something nice. I don't mean to bash the church. I really don't. But they'll do something nice. Like she calls me the other day and she's like, oh, we did all this stuff for like a school drive. It was great. We like helped all these underprivileged kids, you know, get you for school. Great. And then she's like, but then we like gave them like a 10-minute like sermon. And I was like, why? And she goes, what do you mean why? And I go, well, why couldn't you have just done the nice deed and then leave?
She's got to spread the word of the Lord.
Right. Why does there always have to be an agenda? Yeah. And so that's my issue with her. This constant like, I don't know, like there's a disconnect of like what she believes and what I believe. And so I am honestly so impressed that you were able to kind of break through, like growing up in your dad was sick. Like that's crazy to me that you were able to grow up like that and then still feel comfortable enough to have that discussion with them. because I can't even have that discussion with my parents, and I get angry and I walk out of the room. So like, I can't even imagine having to come out to someone like my mother, who's probably not nearly as religious as your father.
Yeah. Which is a reason, he and I didn't have like the full conversation.
Yeah,
I left that to someone else I knew would tell him.
But I did the same thing, by the way, with my divorce. I told my dad and was like, you can tell my mom, and then have her wait 4 days to call me about it, because I needed her to calm down before she called me. So I get it. But like, I can't imagine what that was like. So do you think you'll ever repair that relationship? Do you think it'll ever like get better?
I would like to. I just don't really know how. I'm in therapy, obviously.
Same.
Everyone should be. Guys, if you're out there listening and you're not going to therapy, call a therapist right now.
Yeah.
If you think you're well adjusted, you're probably not. Go cry.
Yeah. I'm not in a place of like where I'm comfortable having a real conversation with my dad about it. Yeah. I would like to make it to where I don't like not want to go home anymore.
Yeah.
Especially, it upsets my mom, and, I have sisters. I have a grandma who's like in her 90s. I have a niece and nephews.
Sure.
But it's just an uncomfortable situation for me. So I would like to get to the point at least of that. I would someday like to fully like have a real conversation, but you can't have conversations with him about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to, because it would also be his faith, and he gets very passionate about that.
I'm sure. That's part of it.
Yeah.
They all do.
Yeah.
That faith.
So eventually I would like to. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that you guys repair that at some point. And I'm glad that you like still have a faith base in your life. I think
Jenna roots for the underdog. She's like, I hope you repair things with your father.
Well, I do, because I say this from somebody whose parents are in their 70s, and and they live far away, so I don't get to see them very often. And even though my mother and I butt heads all the time, and I'm very much a daddy's girl, so like that's the breakdown in my house. So like my mom and I butt heads all the time, but like God forbid something ever happened to her, I would want to make sure that everything was said, right? Like I would never want anything left unsaid. I don't know how old your parents are, so I really hope that like you guys can come.
Yeah, and my parents, they're in their early 60s.
They got plenty of time.
Yeah, you've got at least like 30 years to figure that out.
I do think about like that they're getting older and all that stuff, but I don't know. I'm just not ready for.
Yeah, totally.
I'm still working it out with my therapist.
Not to be
shout out to Karen. I love you.
Yeah, hi Karen. Not to be a crazy person, but this feels like something that happens when people get sick, right? Like it's going to be a conversation if he, God forbid, ever gets sick, and you guys are having this conversation, and then it's like a movie, right? I could see it playing out in my head. Anyway, so to kind of switch to not such a heavy topic.
Now that I've depressed everyone.
No, I think it's fascinating, and I'm sure there are a million people out there who have a similar story, or somewhat. I moved to Chicago probably like 14 years ago at this point, and I've always lived in like Boys Town or Boys Town adjacent. I don't know what you would call this.
You are right in the gay barrage.
I am, right? I am.
That export is the gay. I used to work out there. I switched to FFC, but that is the gayest gym I've ever been to.
I stand in front of the windows and like question my sexuality like twice a week.
Do you?
Don't I?
I don't know.
There's some stuff going on in the showers too there. I don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't do that. But
you're not a gym shark.
No, I'm not cruising in the gym. But yeah, no.
That's a place. Well, isn't there like a bathhouse over here?
There's one by FFC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steamworks, which I go to FFC. I don't go to Steamworks.
Yeah, Steamworks. That's what it's called. I used to live my first apartment in the city was in a Lane place. So like Cornelia and Halstead area. So like I would back up to, what is that? Hydrate. Right there.
Yeah.
And so and you know what? It was so, like my third night in the city, right? I come from.
Hydrate is a mess.
It's a mess. And there were like two guys boning in my alleyway, and they were so loud. And I remember I was like 24, and I leaned out the window and I was like, hey guys, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so happy you guys are getting laid. But can you just keep it down a little bit? I've got to get up in the morning.
Can you cover his mouth while you're doing that?
Yeah, can you please just put a sock in it or whatever? Like I can't.
Or put something else in it.
Yeah, something else in it. But it was like crazy. It's crazy over there. And then I just moved a little bit closer to the water, and it didn't feel as crazy. Like I couldn't sleep some nights because those bars and clubs are like loud all night long. And I'd be like, can I get some sleep? That'd be cool.
I would hate to live like right there.
It was hard.
It would be awful.
I feel like the Boys Town bar scene is where like it's kind of like tiers, if you hear me out here. Boys Town bar scene is like all of like the super abbed out, like good looking dudes.
Yeah,
but
they
if
all
you go
take
up
their
to,
shirts off.
if you go up to like
Good.
Andersonville, that area,
Andersonville's a totally different vibe.
it's like two dudes with beer bellies who just love each other a lot and have great beards. It's like a totally
like
different.
families
Like Andersonville,
probably up
I mean,
there.
there are plenty of single people in Andersonville, but it's a lot of like married people. And
Yeah.
it's definitely a much calmer vibe. Everyone has a beard.
Yeah.
It's just a very different vibe. And Boys Town's like, oh, let's all fuck.
But like, I think there's something
When
nice
do we
about-
get our neighborhood like that? God damn it.
Seriously, right? I mean, that's like your Tuesday. Just kidding. So I think after my divorce, my friend Daniel was like, why don't you move out of that neighborhood? You're never going to like meet someone there. And I was like, yeah, but you know what I love? I love I go to LVAC, the gym. And
It's
so,
super gay too. I've never been, but it's super gay.
Yeah, but I love that because nobody's looking at me. I roll out of bed. I look like shit when I go to the gym. I sweat. I do all the things I'm supposed to, and then I leave. Nobody gives a shit. But when I go to like a normal, like a not a normal gym, cut that. If I would go to like I can't even think of, like LPAC. I go to
gym.
you know what I mean, like not filled with gay men.
With ugly people.
Yeah, with ugly people.
The commoners.
I don't know why
Yeah.
I just like kitty pawed. I was like,
I go to LPAC because I'll alternate depending on where my trainer is. And so when I go there, I hate working out there because I feel like everyone's there like staring. And I don't feel like I get a good workout because I feel like I'm on display and I don't like that.
Well, that's another reason I didn't like the sex sport because it is a much more cruising gym.
Did you call it sex sport?
I didn't, but
I
that's a
thought
good
that's what you
name
just
for it.
called.
trademarked 2019.
Might as well
Sorry,
be.
that's what you said.
Jenna, that 48 episodes in, that might be the funniest thing you've ever said.
That's rude.
But yeah, it's more of a cruising gym, and I felt like even if you're not, and just a lot more judgy, like the stereotype of gays being bitchy and judgy about each other is very true. And I just felt very watched there. Whereas FFC, it's very gay, but it's just a different vibe. So that's why I switched.
Yeah. What?
I know someone who's like a very active FFC. This one right over here.
I live closer to the one in East Lakeview, but I go to Boys Town one a lot too.
Oh, so
Just
the one
switch
on
it up.
Pine Grove? I used
But I
to live
switch
right
it
on
up a lot.
Madison. Yeah.
Do you know anyone else? Like, are you friendly with anyone who works out there?
Not that works out there. Like
Okay.
I recognize people and like some
Okay.
people I'll say hi to, but not like good friends or anything.
Anyway.
Two thumbs up
So okay, besides the gym
for the game.
and this, what is the bathhouse? What is it really called? I call it a bathhouse. Is that really what it's called?
I think it's
is that
called
like an old person thing
I think
to
it's
say?
called a bathhouse.
Okay. Anyway, besides those places, what are the best places to go and like meet people?
I wish.
Are they in Boys
I wish
Town,
I
or
knew.
like is that too like everyone's out to party and like bone,
Yeah.
and you have to go somewhere else?
I mean,
With the apps, do you really need to go anywhere?
well, that's also true.
I mean, out at like in Boys Town, like to steal a Rachel Feinstein line, like the streets are littered with dick. So, like
Rachel
it's
Feinstein's
everywhere.
incredible, man.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Oh my god.
And it's just
Wouldn't that be something? That's like the most amazing visual. Like you're just walking down the street and there's just dick everywhere.
I mean,
It's like,
that's a Boys Town on a Saturday night.
wow.
I mean, I'm not good at like going up and talking to people. Like you're gonna have to come talk to me, and even then I get nervous and like take my number and leave because I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah.
So I mean, go if you have a like where you can talk to a stranger. But it's great. I mean, you're probably not gonna meet your boyfriend there because most people are just looking to hook up. But I mean, I mostly rely on the apps.
Yeah.
Or like I've had some success, like at if friends have a party, like meeting someone, stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
old-fashioned way that I
Yeah.
never seem to do.
Even if I meet someone like out at the bars, I've never actually gotten a date out of it. They would like take my, we would talk, they'd take my number, and then like the next day, like they might text me once, and then they would just like disappear.
You know what I find is kind of odd is you hear so many people now that we're kind of in the age of app dating and there are people like me who fully embrace it and I'm fine with it. There are people who absolutely hate it and they say things like, oh, why can't you meet people in the wild? Why, oh, I'm more old fashioned. Why don't you just go to a bar? But 10 years ago, pre-app, if you were like going to the bars all the time, people would be like, oh man, I don't want to be meeting people at the bars.
Yeah.
Like, where can I meet people? I feel like there's just this propensity to like whatever the thing people are doing is, we're going to just like not love that and long for the thing people used to do.
I think meeting people is hard, no matter gay, straight, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. And really just to find some kind of connection with someone outside of just wanting to hook up is difficult, I think, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish I had a better answer for where to meet people. Although sometimes I'll, well, like I said, I deleted the apps, which right now I'm just not in the mood to like date at all, but I'll be like confident. I'm like, I can meet people in public, and then like a week later, I'm like, no, I can't.
You're like, I may not, but I can get 400 messages in one day on Bumble. Here we come, guys.
I mean, not everyone swipes like you.
Even a modified swipe strategy where I'm only swiping on like 40%, it's still possible to rack up like literally hundreds, potentially 1,000 matches a day.
Is it true that straight guys swipe on everyone just to see who matches and then they go from there?
Well, I would say it's true that straight guys go through phases of doing that. My initial runs on the apps, I definitely did quite a bit of that. In my more recent iterations of being on them, I don't swipe as freely. But a friend of, and we talked about this in a couple episodes, a buddy of mine, we used to do these things we called swipe right-a-thons. We'd set like a 5-minute timer.
This sounds like a douchebag.
Right? I know. I don't have to even tell you. He just lets the word vomit go and everyone gets it.
Did you guys like high five after?
No, there was no high fiving.
With their dicks.
Yeah. We were playing tummy sticks. It happens. Yeah, we would just set a timer for like 5 minutes. The rule is you make eye contact, and then it's very homoerotic.
Are you sure about that 97% straight?
Yeah.
It's more like 90.
So we make eye contact so you don't look at your phone and you swipe right on every single profile. And the first day I was on Bumble, I started off my Bumble with a 10-minute swipe right-a-thon. And he had been on the apps previously, so as he was swiping, he was getting matches as he went. But I was my first day, so no one was seeing my profile, and I wasn't getting anything. I was like, oh, well, that was kind of not fulfilling. But then I woke up the next morning, and I had like 430 matches, and I was like, oh, suddenly more fulfilling. I see how people get addicted to this.
And on Bumble, for the heteros, the woman has to message the guy first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
I just free reign, whatever happens.
I say all the time, like, if you're a guy and you have even a moderate amount of charm and you're doing you're not leading with sex, because in general, if you do that, you're going to be seen as a douchebag for sure. So don't lead with sex. Like, try to be genuine, be nice. But if they match with you, they've chosen you for whatever criteria it is that they swiped, and then they actually speak to you, they've essentially given you 2 positive answers.
I've noticed with my girlfriends that, and I am not a straight guy hater at all, so I don't mean this bad.
No, hate us, bring it.
Straight men can do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
1,000%.
So much attention. Even not to throw it back to Bravo, but do you watch Vanderpump Rules?
Of course I do.
Okay, do you remember when Stassi was dating that Patrick guy who was terrible?
He was terrible,
awful.
but I
and
love
do you watch Vanderpump? Yeah, you said that. You told me that. You did. Sorry. And he showed
James
up.
Kennedy.
He finally showed up to some party, and they're all like praising him I'm like, he should have been doing this
to one party.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's just been a name they've spoke on the show for months.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
And he's talking mean to her all the time, but he finally decides he's bored enough to show up to one party.
So true.
And they're like, oh, I can tell he really cares about you. It's like he should be showing up all the time.
It's a very low bar. I've told Jenna and other people that as a guy, the point in life that I'm at, not being married, not having children, having a career, not having any super obvious baggage, I've been able to date so far out of my league. And because most dudes do the bare minimum, if you're just like I said, be interested, be nice, and that the amount of women who are like, oh my God, you're fantastic, because you're just
so true.
treating me like a decent human being.
And how sad.
Yeah. Because you said what's up. So he's obviously
yeah.
It's so true. Ugh, I can't. Gross.
White men, we are the white hetero men.
Yeah.
The root of every problem. I'm doing my part. We're toppling the patriarchy together, guys.
100%. Can we, before we wrap, I just want to get into a Vanderpump conversation.
Okay.
So I'm not fully caught up. I got rid of cable. It was really hard for me to do.
I just have Apple TV, but the shows I watch, I buy off of iTunes.
Okay, so that's it. It's like, it was really, I don't know why it took me so long to do it. I haven't watched TV in so long because I steal this program from an ex-boyfriend. It's on my computer, and you literally get anything. So I have also my ex-husband's signed into Netflix. And so
you have your ex-husband's Netflix.
Yep. He knows. I just asked him the other day. I was like, hey, what was the password again? We're still friends. It's fine.
You know how you can create the different profile accounts on there?
Yeah, we have one.
He should go in and change yours to Jenna's a fucking leech or something like that.
Nah, it was the least he could do. I could have taken half of his shit and I didn't. So if he wants to pay for my Netflix, pay for my Netflix.
Fair.
Okay. So anyway, I never watch TV anymore. So I have kind of stopped. I think I stopped. The last one I saw was, I think, the reunion of last year's wrap up. But I love Stassi's new boyfriend.
So I'm not fully caught up on last season either.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not the best expert on that.
Oh, do you know the boyfriend or fiance now?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but just from what I've seen, he definitely seems way above her past.
It's like
guys.
night and day. And I'm like, how did you meet him? Like, he seems like a normal human being.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, Jax. Anyone can go up from Jax.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing about all the Vanderpump people. None of them are good people.
Not a single one.
They're all terrible. Well, I think Brittany's a good person. I think Raquel's a good person. She's just.
I think Brittany's a good person too because she's not corrupted yet.
Yeah.
Who's the one that's like always drunk and everyone hates?
Kristen.
Fucking hate her.
She's
God,
crazy.
she's the worst.
My friends Aaron and Andrew love her. I'm like, she's the worst. Why do you like her?
I suck. You can tell I'm new to this, but like the one who has the rich guy who gets them the private jet to like go.
Lala.
I like her.
I love her.
Love her.
When Randall, that's her
hot.
guy, right?
Yeah.
So when they go on that trip and Kristen gets just like fucking pissed drunk, it's like falling all over the place. I was watching it just like
the
eating
winery.
popcorn. I'm like, you bitch, what a fucking idiot. Oh my God.
I like Lala though because she's kind of just does what she wants to do. And
Yeah,
she's like,
she doesn't give a fuck.
She's like, fuck you. I don't really care.
Yeah, so I married a dude in his 60s who's worth like $20 million. Yeah, fuck
she
you,
doesn't have
whatever.
to do anything. Although they'll definitely have a prenup. So
Oh, yeah,
I don't
for
know.
sure.
Where does that lead her? She has to kind of love him, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's
Right?
gross. So
He is gross.
unattractive.
And she's very
she's
attractive.
so hot.
She's
I
so
don't
hot.
get it.
yeah, there's no way she likes having sex with him. She tries to pretend like she does. I'm like, there's no way
fucking
you
way.
like having sex with him.
No, she's gonna have someone on the side.
Oh, for sure.
She probably, whenever he touches her clit, she asks him to wrap her hand in a 20, so he like rubs it with dollars.
Okay, that's
That was
disgusting.
gross.
So everybody out there, if you get any like really sticky money, you know what's been going on.
Ew! Stop. You're disgusting.
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun.
Thank you. It
I
was a lot
never
of fun.
get to talk pop culture in this, and that's like my jam.
Well, I'm happy to do it anytime.
Yeah,
so
thank you. Thanks
So-
for.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So before we get going for the day, sorry about that, Jenna.
You're
So
good.
before we get going, thank you so much, Jacob, like Jenna said, for joining us. And why don't you remind everyone where they can find your podcast, where they can follow you for some of the best Instagram content out there.
Yeah, all the good selfies.
So you can follow my personal Instagram account at jacobmwells.
Do it. Style icon, Jacob M. Wells.
True.
Thank you. I love clothes, so that makes me feel good. You can follow my podcast at Big Gay Roundup. It's available on Apple, Spotify. I like to think it's like Girls Gotta Eat podcast meets Wendy Williams. So
Oh,
I have a lot of like straight female listeners and gay listeners. So I think your audience would probably enjoy it.
yeah, I
So,
guarantee
Guys,
it.
so definitely make sure you're following Jacob on Instagram and check out the Big Gay Roundup podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. I listened to several episodes this morning. It is hysterical, and him and his friends could not be more delightful.
They are delightful. I like want to be in the room with you. I talk back to it. I was
Yeah.
listening to it last night.
Well,
I was
that's-
like talking back. No one, of course, was talking back to me. I had some wine, and I was like, I could be on the show.
Well, that's the vibe I want is like to feel like you're like sitting with wine with your friends
Yeah.
and talking. So that's the vibe I wanted for the podcast.
Good.
One closing note in your podcast. Guys, I'd made a call back to designing women in this, and I listened to an episode where Jacob made a joke about the 4 women that made him gay were designing women, and the way can you really quickly tell a joke about the Twitter and what they said on Twitter?
So on Twitter, someone started and everyone was like posting too. It was like post a picture of the 4 women who made you gay, like basically celebrities. And I posted a picture of designing women. No one liked it. It got 0 likes. And so then
it's great.
So then I posted something else, can't remember what it was, and I said something about still bitter about no one liking my designing women tweet. And then my friend Aaron, I love him, but he's kind of a jerk sometimes. He's like, this is a young people app. No one knows.
Wow.
So for that kind of hysterical, quick-witted content, make sure you check out the Big Gay Roundup with Jacob Wells. Finally, if you want to find out more about Menage-A-Pod, head over to our Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast, where you will find our link tree that includes links to our Facebook group, Twitter account, website, top episodes, and more. Finally, a quick thank you to everyone who makes this show happen. Wonderful guests like Jacob, my fantastic and lovely co-host Jenna, me because I'm great, you guys because you fucking rock. Until next time, share us in your IG stories, retweet, share our Facebook postings, do all the things I tell you to do every week. And this time, I mean it more. I'm asking from my heart, like, please, like, I love you guys. You mean so much to me, and it would mean the world to Jenna, to Jacob, to all of us.
Yep.
Share, download,
Even if you don't
subscribe.
want to try to date TJ, will you please download our podcast?
And if you want to date me, write a
And if
review.
you want
I'll
to
read them.
write a review.
And if you have any hot, single, gay, top friends, hit me up.
Yeah. Top friends.
That's a great note to end on. Good luck out there.
Bye, guys.